Hey beautiful people, welcome to the moon forecast and Tarotscope.
Hey beautiful people, it's your girl Shakima. I'm just stopping in for a quick moon forecast for the next few days for us guys, as well as a Tarotscope so that we can navigate through the energies of the actual transit, because we do have the Taurus full moon effectively happening today guys here in the UK for us. But I am going to be taking an opportunity to talk you guys through the energies from the 11th of November all the way through to the 19th, so until next Tuesday. I hope you guys are having an awesome time throughout your transit, throughout this Mercury retrograde as well. I know that sounds a little bit strange, but Mercury is just helping us to work on our communication, so I hope it hasn't been too tense for you guys. And yeah, I'm sending you guys all the love and positivity as per usual guys. So we're going to go ahead and have a little look to see what is actually transpiring for us as we navigate through the energies guys, because there is a lot to say the least guys. But definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know how you guys are effectively able to utilize the information that I'm providing to you guys. And be sure to like, share, subscribe, you know, that way you guys can join the tribe and we could just work on, you know, all the stuff that may be coming up to be healed. Okay, beloveds, going straight into it guys, because I really just want to give you guys as much insight as possible. As of yesterday, Monday, the 11th of November, which is definitely a portal, guys, 1111, it's pretty much a gateway for new beginnings. 11 is actually a portal for us to sort of walk through. It's a gateway, a physical, well, a non-physical gateway, but it is physical by way of numerology, because it's the dates that turns the energies. So yeah, the moon was in Taurus as of yesterday, and it's still in Taurus today, which is Tuesday the 12th of November. And the moon's going to be in Taurus basically up until tomorrow, which is Wednesday the 13th. The moon's in Taurus until 8:46 a.m. tomorrow. So Taurus is a fixed sign. It's all about rooting and stabilizing whenever we're speaking about fixed signs, and it is a earth sign as well, so it's all about the physical representation. It's all about the physical manifestation of when we think about earth signs. Taurus is the second house, and the second house is all about sowing seeds, particularly in business and savings guys. And Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus is a planet of creativity. It's a planet of passion. She's the goddess of love, you know, so it really is an opportunity for us to be able to really go through a process of just sowing those seeds, speaking things into existence. You know, we go through a process of self-fulfilling prophecies all the time, so we have to be careful about the way that we put words out there over our space of creating, because I can see that the moon, as it navigates its way through Taurus, it's actually going to be triggering the organs that is going to be triggering are the vocal cords, throat, thyroid glands, and the neck in general. So we are going to be going through a lot of throat chakra activation between Monday and Wednesday morning. And when we go through throat chakra activation, it really is just giving us an opportunity to really sort of work on our self-esteem issues. It's giving us an opportunity to make sure that our esteem is really of self versus us wanting to be validated by other people. Are we taking the time to be our own cheerleaders, or are we too busy waiting for someone else to sort of validate our experience for us, to say, you know what, you did an awesome job. You know what, I know it may not have worked out how you would have hoped that it would, but you still kept your end of the bargain. You still did what you could do for yourself. You still did your best with the situation. That's all that matters. That's all that counts. We need to be able to have these open dialogues with ourselves, because if we're expecting it from other people, the reality is if we're not really giving it to ourselves, it won't show up in our experience as a result of. So all that cheerleading, yay team that we're doing for ourselves will then get other reflections externally outside of ourselves that will come in as mirror reflections of us to say, you're doing an awesome job. But first we have to be willing to do that for ourselves, so that we can see the physical representation of that aspect and reflection of ourselves showing up in the world outside of ourselves. Okay, so on Wednesday morning, I mentioned the moon's going into Gemini, and it's going to be taking place around about 8:46 a.m. and that's on the 13th of November. So considering that Wednesday is the day of Mercury guys, and the moon is now in Gemini as of 8:46 on Wednesday morning, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, so we'll definitely be feeling the waves of the Mercury retrograde transit, which is why I mentioned it at the start of the video as well. And Mercury is really responsible for communications overall, and the way that we communicate is very much indicative of how we say things, not necessarily just about what we say. Only 20% of what we say is actually relevant to the things that we say. It's more about how we say the things that we say that makes it possible for a person to either receive us or close themselves off from what we're trying to put across to them. So just be mindful as you navigate your way through the energies of not just today, but I can see that Mercury, the moon's going to be in Gemini until Friday, where it does go into Cancer at 4:15 p.m. on Friday. But whilst the moon's in Gemini on Wednesday, just so you guys have a full scope of the, ideals on the moon transit between Wednesday and Friday, Gemini is a mutable sign, so it's all about changing, it's all about adapting, and because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, the only way to be able to adapt is to be able to communicate about what we're going through. It's to be able to talk not to just ourselves, but also the people around us that may be subsequently triggering a lot of the experiences that we're having, and letting them know, how that really impacted us. Because looking at the actual organs that are going to be impacted by the moon being in Gemini, we've got the shoulders, arms, hands, bronchial tubes, and lungs. And whenever the lungs is triggered, because the lungs processes anger beneath the surface, that means that those are some of the things that will come to surface. There'll be situations that will make us feel a little bit angry, that will make us feel a little bit irritated, but anger is only a surface emotion, as I've said to you guys several times. So there may be disappointments, that might be how it shows up for you guys. It may somewhat show up as just being sad about situations, being hurt, some sort of pain, some sort of, unhappiness generally about situations that are taking place. So just be mindful as you navigate through the energies, because it is giving you an opportunity to just own your stuff, beloveds, from what I can see. Okay. Looking at it, I can see that there's a lot of crown and solar plexus activation that's going to be taking place for us between a Wednesday right the way to Friday. So Spirit's giving us an opportunity to gain some perspective, get some self-realizations, so that we can put those things into action, so that we can really be governing our willpower to be able to do things. Okay. Particularly whilst the moon is in Gemini between Wednesday and Friday, we're going to be working on communication with our neighborhood and our siblings. Okay. So when we talk about neighborhood, it doesn't just have to be about the people that live in our actual neighborhood. It could also mean the people that we deal with as far as on social media. We may be dealing with some haterade on social media. We may be dealing with trolls, people that are trigger happy behind the screens of their phones or computers or whatever device they're utilizing to be able to communicate. And those are some of the things that we're going to have to navigate our way through between Wednesday and Friday. So do be mindful of that, because the whole process is giving us an opportunity to gain a clearer perspective on what anger is doing in our experience, what it's teaching us about ourselves, how it's teaching us about the buttons that we do have outside of ourselves that can easily be pushed to trigger certain characteristic traits of ours. And it's about owning those things so that other people don't necessarily have to push our buttons, because all of our buttons are internal. We're aware of the things that we, have by way of flaws and how they show up externally in the world. And we own those things. We take accountability for those things, and we're actively working on them. So those are the things that Mercury is really trying to give us an opportunity to do as well whilst it's in retrograde. So do be mindful of that, guys. So the moon does go into the sign of Cancer as of 4:15 on Friday, as I mentioned to you guys, and it's going to stay there until 9:57 or 9:56 on Sunday, because the moon then goes into Leo. But whilst the moon is in Cancer as of Friday afternoon, Cancer is actually our fourth house. It's a cardinal sign. It's an action-oriented sign. That's what it means to be a cardinal sign. It's all about putting the actions into place. And the fourth house, which is what Cancer represents, the fourth house is all about our foundations. It's all about our home circumstances. It's all about our maternal relationships and how we may have been impacted by those, positively and negatively charged. And because Cancer is actually ruled by the moon, a lot of what was transpiring for us at the Taurus full moon is going to be giving us some insights into what is going to be taking place at the end of the week, over the course of the weekend. So do just be mindful of that as you guys navigate through the process, because we are going to be sort of readdressing home circumstances and situations, guys. So yeah, just be mindful of that, because I can see whilst the moon is in Cancer between Friday afternoon to Sunday night, the organs that are going to be triggered for us are the stomach, mucosa, breast, womb, and ovary, as well as the overall reproductive system. So we are going to be getting sacral and solar plexus activation throughout Friday afternoon all the way to Sunday evening. And it really is just giving us an opportunity, like I say, to make sure that our creativity it's coming from a place of our true will versus us trying to meet the expectations of our parents, like our maternal figures, like the people that were the elders within our home circumstances, our home situation. And home, like I said, doesn't necessarily have to be about a physical representation of home. It can also mean the people that make us feel most at home within ourselves as well. Okay, so those are some of the things that we're going to be navigating our way through. And once the moon does go into Leo on Sunday night at 9:57 p.m. It's going to stay there until Tuesday. Okay, so the moon is going to be in Leo as of 9:57, and Leo is basically a fixed sign. It's again all about rooting and stabilizing. So we started the week of the 11/11 with a stable fixed sign, and we are again starting the week of the 18th of November with a fixed sign, because the moon is going into Leo at 9:57 on Sunday. And it really is just giving us an opportunity again, like I say, to really stabilize ourselves, really stabilize our intentions. And in the process of the moon being in Leo, Leo is actually the 5th house, and it's all about creative endeavors. It's all about the blooming of our character, and Leo is ruled by the sun. So the ego is going to be really imperative as we navigate through the process of Sunday evening right the way to Tuesday, because it's interesting, the moon being in Leo actually triggers the heart, aorta, blood pressure, blood circulation. And whenever we're having heart chakra activation, a lot of the shadows that may show up in our heart chakra will have to do with hatred, cruelty, and impatience. And those are some of the things that we'll be having to navigate our way through between Monday and Tuesday, as well as late Sunday evening as well. Some of us may be even experiencing it from a little bit sooner on Sunday. But it's just very, very interesting to see the dynamics of what's taking place. So we go from the 11th of November, where we're going through throat chakra activation, right the way up until the 13th, where we go through crown chakra and solar plexus activation. So our self-esteem, we're gaining perspective on how to be responsible for our self-esteem. And we're going to gain some self-realizations about how we can do differently moving forward between Wednesday and Friday. And then on Saturday, late Friday afternoon to Sunday, we're dealing with sacral chakra and solar plexus activation. So we are going to be able to put those self-realizations into action. And then we're going to start the following week from the 18th and 19th with heart chakra activation. So we're going to basically, once we've put those things into action from the week before, we're going back into our heart center to really be able to make sure that, you know, anything that is impacting the way that we're creating is coming up to surface to be healed and transmuted as well. Okay, beloveds. So I hope that was useful for you guys. Let's go ahead and get straight into the Tarotscope. We're going to have a look and see where we are, what crosses us during that time, and the past and future trajectory of the situation as well. We may, if we've got time, have a look and see what's going on in the subconscious and what's going on in the conscious mind. Okay. Where are my life warriors, spirit, between the 11th of November to the 19th? Where are they and what crosses them? Okay, so we do have guidance, guys. So what's happening for us is that we are at a place where there's a lot of poor planning and there's a fear of the unknown. And a lot of it is sort of causing us to sort of not have a good, healthy work and personal life situation going on. There's not really good balance between our work and personal life, and we're really hopeless about it, but we're learning how to be a little bit more resilient. We're learning how to be a little bit more resourceful. And there's definitely going to be an opportunity for us to really get a significant turnaround in terms of us burning out our energy, spending too much time in the work situations just to make sure that the home situation is completely put together. But the path that we're crossing is a hanged man. There will be restrictions. There will be a need for us to let go and leave certain things to a higher power, leave certain things to God, and sacrifice our own personal desires for what it is that spirit can give to us in those experiences. Because with the fear of the unknown, we'll actually be able to gain some perspective. We'll be enlightened by the process if we just sit with it and give ourselves an opportunity to see what we can do differently moving forward. But we have to be willing to do so, because the hanged man is a pretty big, transit for us. It's a major arcana. So as we navigate through the scope of the 11th of November right the way to the 19th, spirit's saying that there is a lot of poor planning going on, and there will be certain restrictions as we navigate through the process due to work commitments and personal life commitments as well. But that's something that now that we have some clarity on it, we can work through it. We can make sure that we are as effective as we possibly can be navigating our way through the situation. Okay, guys, let's have a look and see what is in the past trajectory for my Life Warriors coming into the space of the 11th to the 19th of November. Let's have a little look, guys. So in the past trajectory, we've been going through basically just tapping into our power. We became aware. We became aware of our power. And it almost, the best way that I can put it, we became aware of our power to be able to become established, to be able to gain some inheritance financially, as well as reap the rewards of the generosity of others in the process of doing so. Because other people are being generous and we've done a lot of soul searching in the past, it gave us some clarity on how to be able to receive these opportunities. But now that they're coming flooding in, we may find ourselves going through a process of saying yeses, where we may need to say not right now to certain situations. But I can see that we will be able to go through a process of, how can I put it? We will go through a process of feeling like we are going through something with our soul tribe, feeling like we're going through something with the people that probably will mean a little bit more to us as we navigate through the rest of the journey moving forward. Because I can see that, you know, we have become excessively controlling because of our financial failures in the past, and this is why we have said yes potentially when we should have said no, because of other plans that may be affected by us saying yes, but we became slightly greedy basically. So we just kind of have to be careful how we navigate through the process. Okay, guys, what is in the future trajectory for my Life Warriors for beyond the 11th to the 19th of November? As clearly as you can, please, Spirit. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of moodiness. We've got the Knight of Cups in reverse. There's going to be a lot of moodiness. There may be even some jealousy that we're dealing with. Romantic situations are going to be a little bit impacted by us, again, like I said, saying yes to things that we really need to say no to when it's not a possibility. I can see that it is a case of us going through a process of moodiness. It may not necessarily even be just our moodiness, but other people may be feeling a little bit moody based on us not being able to say yes to certain things. But in the process of us doing so, guess what? There's abundance for us, and we kind of have to go through a process of learning how to navigate our way through the abundance, because we are going to find ourselves being burnt out because we're deceiving not only ourselves, or maybe other people will go through a process of deceiving us throughout the process, but there's definitely some betrayal that is going to be taking place that's going to leave us burnt out. So that's why people are going to be feeling moody, and those are probably some of the restrictions that we're going to be going across as we navigate through the journey of this Taurus full moon transit, to be able to give us some insight and perspective on how we can do differently moving forward. Okay, what do we need to be able to stabilize ourselves? What is going on in the subconscious mind for my Life Warriors between the 11th to the 19th of November, Spirit? As clearly as you can, please. What is going on in the subconscious mind for my Life Warriors between the 11th to the 19th of November? Okay, guys, so there's definitely a lot going on for us. Again, it seems as though, right, we are at a place where there's a part of us that's a little bit hopeless, and that's the part of us that we're creating from. We want to be careful not to create from a place of fear, because we don't know where the next coin is coming from, how the next bill is going to be paid. Just know that it's already been provided for us, and we're just simply tapping into the scope of it, because I can see that there is going to be a lot of bitchiness, there is going to be a lot of cold-hearted communication, due to being ruthless and controlling and domineering, and wanting to be a free spirit, wanting to be able to do more, but feeling like we have too little to be able to do the things that we want. But if we're able to just stay strong throughout the process, Spirit's just giving us an opportunity to break away from some of our limiting beliefs, and give us an opportunity to be a little bit more open to the things that may have caused us anxiety or depression in the past, and navigate our way through them, charge our way through them, so that we don't have to continue to carry the baggage of that into our situations moving forward. But I can see that there are some of us that will find it very, very difficult to move forward, because there's a lot of scattered energy. There's a lot of quick communication, sharp communication, so you just kind of have to be mindfully aware. That does have a lot to do with the Mercury retrograde energies. You kind of just have to sit with yourself and really process those feelings before you start effectively communicating, because it will do you a lot better moving forward, okay, in terms of your relationships overall. What is the divine guidance, Spirit, as far as what's going on in the conscious mind? So what's going on in the conscious mind for my Life Warriors between the 11th to the 19th? Okay, so in the conscious mind, guys, we're going through a transition. Okay, we're going through a rite of passage. We are going through a change. We are letting go of some of these stressful situations. We're letting go of taking on too much. We're letting go of putting our eggs in all of these different baskets that are really just distractions from us really being able to sit in our cool, calm, collected states. And it does seem as though there's going to be a lot of indecisiveness as we navigate our way through this transition, but we're learning how to prioritize. We're learning how to be better time keepers of our own time, and we're learning how to basically just communicate effectively as we navigate through the situation. We will be victorious, but it is going to be a tricky situation for us to navigate our way through. Okay, I can see, like I said, beyond the 19th of November, we are going to be dealing with some moodiness, some jealousy, and it is going to be very, very instrumental based on the way that we actually communicate through the process of what is to come. Okay, beloveds? So I'm going to love you guys and leave it there for you guys. I hope that that was useful for you guys. As per usual, guys, I'm sending you guys nothing but love, light, and positive intentions for the journey ahead. Like I mentioned to you guys at the start of the video, definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know how you guys are effectively able to utilize this information to navigate through your time between the 11th to the 19th of November. Definitely be sure to give me a like, guys, give me a thumbs up, share if you care and you feel like somebody else may need to hear the information, and subscribe if you like my vibe and you want to join the tribe. Definitely be sure to hit the subscription button. I guess it's somewhere around the place. And if you guys are interested in, going a little bit deeper, because these are general readings, guys, if you want to know a little bit more about some of the things that may show up for you as far as restrictions as you navigate through the waves of this Taurus full moon energy, you can definitely check out the link in the description box below where you can book me for a personal reading or shadow work mentorship session. You could also gain access to my shop via my website in that link. I'm also actually doing a Sagittarius new moon guided meditation. It's a very intimate setting, guys, so you can also utilize the link in the description box below to gain access to your tickets for that as well. I think that there's only probably maybe 7 or so tickets available left, because there's a few seats that have been reserved, and the tickets are going to sort of be purchased at a later stage. But yeah, you can utilize the link in the bio as well to just connect with me via my other social media channels. I do daily oracle guidance via my Instagram channel as well, so you guys can tune in for stuff like that as well. And yeah, I'm just gonna love you guys and leave it there for you guys. I will see you guys in the next video. As per usual, God bless you and Ashe. Take care, beloveds. Mwah.
That's all, folks. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for more.